Hi friends, welcome back to my channel Testing Mini Bytes. I am your friend Amudan Shaktivel, and today we will start a new topic about page layers design. We are speaking more about tests. We focused more on driver creation. We did a lot of things, but we haven't even touched the topic of page layers creation, right? So today we will cover that in detail. Again, there are different ways that you can design your page layers. Okay, there is no hard and fast rule, but there is a pattern that's been followed across the automation industry, at least in most of the projects. If not in all the projects, people follow this page object design pattern, right? So pattern is something that is being tested, and pattern is, you can consider something, it's been set. It's like a answer or a template for all your questions which has been already verified, right? So we're going to use something like that in our test. So page object design is one such pattern. Okay, it's a structural pattern. There can be classifications, what, whether it is a creational pattern or a behavioral or a structural. This page object design as a structural, so we're going to structure our pages. It's going to help us to structure our pages, right? So what the advantages of this particular page object design, right? So first let me explain what is a page object design. Okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to move all the things that are related, not related to the test, to the page layers. Okay, so what we will do, we will suppose the application is having 5 pages. Okay, so we will create each page, each class file for each of the pages present in the application. Okay, suppose if there is a login page and home page, card page, payment page. Okay, so we will create a class file for each of those. Okay, again, it is not a hard and fast rule that you have to exactly create the same number of pages as classes. It depends, right? So there is a little ambiguity out there, but this is the most common understanding. We're gonna do some functional encapsulation. So what this classes will do, suppose I have a login page class. Okay, what this will do, it has all the locators and all the methods or all the functions that will do encapsulated in a same class, so that if someone else is coming, they can easily understand, that if there's something related to login, they have to go and check the login page to do some modification or add some new functionalities. Okay, so this is a a little synopsis about your page object design. Now if you see the advantage, right, we get a effective segregation, okay, from our test. Okay, if we are separating our tests from our page actions. Now, we should not be telling, click on username, and then send the keys of this particular value. All these things, it doesn't really needs to be in the test. Okay, so we are moving it out of it. Okay, so that we are segregating our test from our page layers, so that our test becomes neat and clean and actually to the point. Okay, anyone who reads the test can understand what the test is all about. Okay, instead of putting all the Selenium code out there, or your APM code. Okay, it doesn't matter, it was not important. Okay, so it gives us a effective segregation. Yes, and it also gives us some sort of functional encapsulation. That's what I told. Each class will have its all the functions and all the locators in the particular page, so that it gives us a place where we can go and search for a particular element, right? It virtually gives us a functional encapsulation, right? So that what it's all about. Again, it's more scalable. Okay, because if you have developed your robust framework using page object design, if you want to add more tests, okay, on top of it gonna become very easy, because you have all the page layers created, you have all the locators created already. No, you have to just add new methods and call them from your test layers. The scalability is one of the very very good advantage. Again, there are other advantages, but predominantly these three would be the main advantages for this page object design pattern. Again, disadvantage, some people call, if there are 50 pages in an application, it will take a lot of time to create locators, a lot of time to yeah, it happens. But for me, it definitely that's how it works. Okay, creating 500 classes doesn't mean it's a practice. Actually, you are giving a lot of modularity to your code, and I think it should be the best thing. But we always know, right? Our lead comes and then tell, okay, you have only 5 days, you need to automate to 200 test cases. Okay, obviously we cannot do it with page object design. Suppose, imagine you have a website like Amazon. Okay, it has a lot of pages, right? So it can be advantage for some of them, but it comes under disadvantage because it needs a lot of time to set up, right? So good. And again, there is an ambiguity in the implementation. Okay, for example, okay, what I can show you some of the websites. Okay, uh, so let's take Amazon website. Okay, if you ask me what you will create, how many pages you will create for this, the screen what you see. Okay, what I will tell, okay, I will create all the left hand side menus as some page. So menu page, left hand menu page, I can create something like this, or I can create a header page. Okay, for this. And then if I also go here, I can also create some footer page. Okay, same way how I can also create something called as footer page for all these things. Okay, so if you ask somebody else, they will just tell, okay, I will just create only one home page. Okay, I really don't care about all these elements. Okay? Because see, there is ambiguity, little bit of ambiguity, how I could segregate these things, whether I need to club everything into a single class or different class. How do I segregate them? Okay, there is a little bit of ambiguity, and you need some knowledge to practice or use this page object model effectively. So this is one of the disadvantage, right? So you need there is no proper hard and fast rule. So it leads to a lot of ambiguities. Yeah, but still most people prefer using page object design better. So we'll be also use that in our framework. Good. Now I'll work predominantly on this open source demo Orange HRM for our project. So this is a exact URL if you want to even work on this. Okay, so what I'll do, let me go to my workspace, and then let me go to the the config properties, and then update the URL, because hereafter I'm going to work with this particular URL instead of Google. Again, guys, just giving this URL would not be sufficient. Okay, maybe I need to add some comments so that manual testers, if they want to change the URL, they can do that. So what I can do, I can give something like, for dev, use this particular URL. Okay, and for UAT, you use this particular URL. Okay, something like this. Okay, so that they don't get confused, right? They can directly come here. Okay, they don't make any spelling mistake. We don't want them to do all these things. Okay, so please use a hash symbol to it will it will be treated as a comment. Okay, so you can follow some kind of practice like this. Okay, for prod, okay, you can use something like this. Okay, prod, something like this. So I'm just giving you an example for all this. Okay, so whenever you are using some property in the property file, make sure you give all the other options that is possible. Okay, suppose I also have one more property, browser. Okay, suppose, see, people can come and tell Safari, but actually in my code I haven't implemented Safari. So that's why I don't want people to do that. So I'm giving them the option. Okay, either use Chrome, okay, or Firefox, okay, or IE. Okay, so this is the three options. Again, even if you don't give this, even if they know this, again some people might enter Internet Explorer. Okay, Internet Explorer like this, but in our comparison we would have actually used IE. So we want people to actually restrict or show them what are the available options. Okay, so for now I'm doing like this. Okay, actually we are not yet here, so I'm just giving you the example. So let me remove this. We are only focusing on this. Again, there is a lot of error that can happen, okay, with the space. Okay, some people may copy it from your Chrome window and then paste it here, so at the end there it will have some additional space. Okay, something like that. So it will cause all your test to fail. Okay, if you even try to load this particular URL in a Chrome window, it will not open because it has a space at the end, right? So this won't work. Okay, how can I avoid this? As a framework, I cannot insist or go and tell my product owner that you should not give the space here. Okay, it will not be appropriate. So what I can do, So this is the code that we have already written. Okay, if you notice here, we are fetching all the values from the property file, we are iterating it, and then we are adding it to the hash map. Okay, then we are using this hash map for our in our framework, right? So what I'm going to do, while adding the values to the hash map, okay, in the key I'm not going to touch anything, but in the value, whenever I'm pasting a value, I want to trim the spaces at the, what this trim method will do, it'll remove the trailing and leading spaces. Okay, so by this way we are avoiding all the uh, runtime exception that we can get. Okay, so as a framework we need to do all these things to make our framework more robust. Good. So we have a home page there. This is what we have created so far. Okay, let it be there. So how clumsy it is, we are doing all the find element here, all the stuff, but we'll try to optimize that. Again, we have created one class file to explain about static imports. I don't need that anymore, so let me remove it quickly. We don't need that. And again, it's been referenced somewhere here. Home page test maybe. Okay, it's okay. Just remove this. Okay, save it. Again, Control Shift O will remove all the unused imports. Okay, good. Now I'll create one more test. Maybe I'll name it as Orange HRM test. Okay, good. And as I already told, it will extend my pastes. And as I already told, I don't want someone to extend my Orange HRM test. And also, I don't want someone to create an object for this. Okay, so yeah, we are all set. Now we'll create our first test. Okay, public void, let me name it as uh, maybe login logout files. Okay, something like this. Okay, Control Shift and O, it will import the tests from test.ng. Good. Now we have started our writing our test, right? So anyways, our base test will take care of loading this particular URL. Okay, so notice here, it'll make sure it'll load the particular URL that is defined in the config.properties. Okay, we have given the URL here. Even if you give some space, it doesn't matter, it will work in our case. Okay, so anyways, I save this and let me go to the Orange HRM test. Now I need to start creating my test, right? Good. So this is a thing. So first, I can treat this as a login page. So I can go here and then I can create a page. Again, I cannot create it in as com.tnb.test. I have to create it somewhere here. Okay, let's go here, create a package. Okay, com.tnb.pages. Right, I'm gonna hold all the pages here. Again, the convention, if you're new here, please watch the previous videos so that you can understand the convention. And if you're finding this video a little slow, please change the playback settings to 1.5 or 2 so that you don't feel any slowness. Good. I'm creating another class now. Let me name it as the login page. Maybe I can name Orange HRM login page. Okay, and then click on finish. Okay, then I cannot create it as a private constructor because I want people to create an object for this from their test classes. So for now I can give it as a final because I don't want someone to extend this for now, at least. Okay, I don't want someone to extend this. Okay, but let me create a locators here. Okay, we have some options here. So if you notice, right click, inspect. Okay, you can use text username, so ID or name or whatever the type. But I prefer using ID. So the same way, there are certain conventions you have to follow. So so this is the order. So ID, name. Okay, and then if you have something class name that is very unique, then you can use that, or you can use link text or your partial link text. Okay, and then you can use your CSS or XPath. Again, there is a bigger debate which one is faster and stuff. I'm not going there now, but this is the order of choosing your locators. Okay, I personally prefer XPath, uh, because in modern browsers there is no difference between your CSS and XPath. Okay, so I prefer XPath because you can transverse between your parent and child. You can do a lot of operations with XPath, which is not actually possible with CSS. Again, you can be a fan of CSS as well, that doesn't matter. Yeah, but for now, all we are interested is we want to create um, uh, a locator here. Okay, so for that, what I can do, you can use a page factory, but I'm not going to page factory as of now. So let me create it as a very simple by class object. Okay, so I can create it as public final by in text box underscore username. Okay, equal to by dot id. Again, the id is something that I can copy it from here, and then you can paste it here. Okay, and then again, it don't have to be public as well. It is only used in this class, so I can even treat it as a final. Okay, again, I can use text box underscore password. Okay, by dot. Again, you have an id for this, maybe. Okay, let me inspect this. Yes, you can have just an id with a text password, but I always prefer combining this with type attribute, because see, the type attribute in the password is having a role. Okay, suppose if I type some value here, it is displayed in the form of dots. Okay, this can only happen, or it predominantly happens when your type attribute is equal to password. Okay, so instead of validating, when I type, something here, whether it is looking like a asterisk or dots, I can directly validate whether the type attribute is password. So instead of validating as a separate step, what I normally do, I will combine these two things as a XPath. Okay, so to write an XPath, what you can do, um, you have your input field. Okay, you have your input field. The tag name is input, and then okay, you have your id attribute as this, and you have your type attribute as password. Okay, now this is a very clean XPath, which not only validates or find the element, which also does little validation whether it is of type password. Okay, good. Maybe I'll create a separate session on how to write clean XPaths. uh, yeah, but for now we will focus more on this. Okay, now I have these two things. Again, I can have one more for login button. Maybe I can name it as button underscore login. Again, we go here. Okay. Again, you have a value as login. You have a type as submit. You can use any of this. Since there is a ID, you can just use ID. Okay, because that's the order of preference, right? So yeah, good. Now I have three different locators. I want to, uh, click on enter some username. So they have given the username here, admin, and the password is 123. I want to click on that. Okay. Okay. Good. So I can create some public methods. Okay. Public uh, void enter username. Here I can write driver manager dot get driver, because in our framework, to call driver we need to use driver manager dot get driver, right? I want to find the element. Okay, which element I want to find? Text box username dot click. Good. The same way, driver manager, okay, dot get driver dot find element, and I don't have to write it here. Public enter password. Okay, and text box password dot click. Sorry guys, I actually need to send the keys here, and the value I'll get it from my test method. Okay, again, some people will actually, you know, hard code this here, but please always pass the value from your test method to the page layers. Okay, that's why I'll use something like this. Okay, code the same way, your string and password. Good. Now we have created two methods, and then I'll create one more which we need to log in. Public void click login. Again, I don't need any parameter for this. I just want to find the elements. Okay, find the elements, and the id is this, and I want to click on it. Control A, Control I will do the alignment for me. Now we have three methods and three locators. Let's try to call this from our test class. Good. Okay, close this. Okay, let me create an object for again, this orange HRM page is only having non-static methods. Okay, to call non-static methods, I need to create an object for this. Otherwise, I cannot work with it, right? I cannot call this method. So what I can have to do, I have to create an object for this. Okay, orange HRM login page. Okay, let me name it as OHLP, something like this for now, and new orange HRM login page. Right, once I do this, and I can call all this method. Okay, so if you notice, I can see the enter username. Yes, I want to enter the username, which is actually admin. So this is a dummy username that they have provided. In the same way, OHLP dot enter password, and the password is admin123 dot click login. Again, for now we'll stop it till here, and then we'll try to run the test. Again, to run the test, again I need to go here and change this. Again, I don't want this. Maybe and write orange HRM test. Okay, I'm not bothered about it, but still I'm changing this. Let's see whether it is working till here. Okay, because it's always a good practice to check often whether it is working, and then take the further steps. Okay, you do not develop everything and then you confused whether it is working or not. Okay, that's not a good thing to do. I mean, it opened the website for me. Let's wait for a few seconds. Okay, again it entered everything. Okay, it's even clicked on login button, everything is working fine. But there is a problem here. What is that problem? Okay, if you notice, we are, we are writing something like this. Okay, enter username, enter password, everything is good. What is the problem here? Okay, if you notice, okay, let me take an example from whatever we have with the, suppose find driver manager dot get driver. Okay, dot, suppose if I type manage, right? So manage is a method, right? When I type manage and then press a dot, okay, it's giving me an option of Windows timeouts, delete all cookies. How this is possible? How can I call a, how, suppose here this is a reference, right? With the reference I can access all the methods. That is possible. So when I type OHLP dot, okay, there is a reason why it is showing click login, enter password, and enter username, because using this object reference I can access all the methods. But how this manage is populating me all these options? Okay, so again I have some error here. Okay, how this is populating all these things? Okay, this is called as method chaining, guys. So it will help you to write fluent fluent operations. You can do a method invocations continuously, or the people call it as uh, method chaining, because you are chaining your methods so that you can write a better code. Okay, so if you notice, let me go to this manage method. Okay, again this is a interface, WebDriver is an interface, so the implementation is not here. So where is the implementation? So implementation is provided in your remote WebDriver class, right? So let me go there. Remote WebDriver. So something I'll type like this. Let me try to import it. Okay. And then let me go to this remote WebDriver. And if you notice, it's implementing WebDriver, so it has uh, it should have the method manage. Yes. If you notice, it is returning new remote WebDriver options. So what is this new WebDriver options? Okay. This is actually an anonymous object, right? It's an object which does not have any reference. So this is an anonymous object. Okay, why it returns an anonymous object? Because it'll help me. Okay, if I create an so it has now created an object, anonymous object. Using that, I can access all these methods. Okay, which is what you are actually seeing here. When I try like this, okay, let me remove this. When I try like this, it is showing me Windows timeouts delete all cookies because this manage method is returning me, okay, is returning me new remote WebDriver options, which is actually a variable, right? Reference variable for this particular class. Okay, using that I can access all the methods, all the non-static methods that are available here in this remote WebDriver options class. Okay, that's why we only see add cookie, delete cookie, no, all these methods. Whatever we see in this particular class, we could able to access, you know, with the, from this, from this method. This is got method chaining. Okay, even if you go to window, okay, if you go to window again, so this is a window, so this is a, let me search for window in the web drive. This is returning new remote window. Okay, so what does it mean? It's an anonymous object. Again, using that, I can still access, all the methods that are displayed here. Okay, set size, set position. Okay, to even confirm, okay, let me just put a dot and then check what are the possible options. See, maximize, set size, full screen, get size, everything is coming from your remote window, this particular class. Okay, so this is how the method chaining the Selenium guys have done. So we are also going to follow the same method chaining. Okay, okay, now they have did method chaining so that they returned next page object, everything looks fine. Okay, so what I can do, I can go here. On clicking the login page, I can, what I can do, I can return new homepage, or I can orange HRM homepage. Okay, it will ask me to create the new class. That's absolutely fine. Create. Okay, finish it. Now we have a orange HRM page. That's absolutely fine. Okay, now it's asking me to change the return type. Yes, that's fine. Okay, this is fine. But what should I return here? Okay, what should I return here? It's just void. Do I have to write two lines of code again? Because to enter username, I have written one line. Enter password, I have written one line. Again, for clicking login, I have written three lines. How can I optimize this? Selenium guys have done it in a better way. How can I do that? Okay, if you're wondering, then there is a keyword called this. Okay, in your in your Java. So what it'll do, it'll return you this particular class instance. Okay, so what I'm gonna do, instead of typing return new orange HRM, okay, login page, okay, if you, instead of doing all these things, okay, 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 instead of, you can do like this, but there is a simple word that can do the same job. Okay, return this. That's it. Okay, the same way I'm gonna do a return this. Okay, so what it'll do, it'll ask me to change the return type to orange HRM. See here, I have just told this, but the Eclipse IDE is giving me the suggestion that the return type is actually orange HRM login page, right? So this is really cool. Now the same way, but for on clicking on login button, it will return me a different page. That's why I am returning instance of this particular orange HRM homepage. This is just to do the method chaining. Again, if you are using the constructor for passing some variables, then you can do that as well. But in our case, we are just doing the method chaining. Okay, that's what we're going to do. So after doing this change, see how our test now will get changed. Okay, instead of doing all this thing, what I can do, I can put a dot after this. Okay, now you can also see the option enter password here. Okay, click login. Okay, so enter password, and then I can enter the password now. Okay, admin 123, and then after that I can just click on login. Okay, that's it. You have done method chaining now. Okay, now this is really cool, right? Even if you have a new method, say you have a orange HRM homepage. Okay, let me go there. I'll log in manually. So you have admin, you have admin 123. Okay, I logged in now. You know, so what I want to do, I want to click on this, and then I want to click on logout. Okay, this is a simple login logout test, right? So what I can do, I can just inspect this. Okay, if you notice, it has an ID welcome, so that I can obviously use that. Okay, let me go here. uh, Let me create a private by it's a final, so by maybe a link, uh, welcome. Okay, equals by dot id. So guys, I didn't copy that properly. It's just welcome. Okay, same way I can also create private final by it's also looking like a link, so I can just give link and logout. Okay, by dot, and let me inspect this. Again, it's a link. You can use a link text with logout, or you can directly use something like XPath. It's up to you, whatever you want to use. Uh, Again, guys, whatever the tag name you have, and then the text is this is the valid text. Okay, and this Eclipse ID is causing a lot of problems. So what I can do, I can go here, I can press Control F and use a text equal to logout. Okay, okay. Now this is identify the element one of one. That's fine. And let me copy this. Again, I can create a public. For now, I'll create it as a void. Click. Okay, click welcome, and then okay, I can write driver manager dot get driver find elements link welcome. First, I want to click on this, and then dot click. Sorry, guys. Okay, dot click. Now the same way. Okay, you can create another method for this. Public void click logout. Okay, so for this again, driver manager dot get driver find elements and then logout. Okay, I want to click that. Good. Okay, so again I go back to the test what I have created so far, orange HRM test. And if you notice, this click login page is actually returning me new orange HRM homepage. Okay, if it is not returning that, then you have to write something like this. Okay, orange HRM homepage. So HRM homepage, new orange HRM homepage. Yeah, and then ohhp equals, okay, ohhp dot click welcome, and then ohhp dot click logout. Okay, you have to write like this. But since this click login is actually you know is, if you notice, it is returning new orange homepage, right? So this is equal to this. Okay, correct. So what I can do, I can directly do like this. Okay, and then I can remove this. It will still work. Yeah, good. Now this is again two sentence. I want to do method chaining. If you want to do method chaining inside the same class, then what do you have to do? You have to go there, and then return the same class object, which is easily possible with the help of this keyword. And it will ask you to change the return type to that. Again, on clicking the logout, what it will do, it will actually take me to the login page, right? It will again take me to the login page. So what I do, new orange HRM login page, right? So that if you want to do some validations after navigating to login page, okay, I can do that with the help of method chaining again. Okay, now let's go back to the test, and then instead of typing like this, what I can do, I can remove all this thing and then just tell click logout. If you notice, our code is now just 3 lines. Okay, we have done a lot of things. Okay, we have done method chaining from your within the class and with the other class as well. Okay, now let's check whatever the operation we did, it should not impact the test anyways. So we are trying to run the test and verify everything's working fine. Again guys, if there are some unused imports, control shift and O, everything gets removed. So it's now it's launching my Chrome, and then it's opening the page. Good. Clicked on login. Okay, you clicked on logged out. Okay, I think there is some failure. What is a failure? Elements not interactable. Okay, it's getting failed at some point. Okay, okay, it's while clicking on logout, it's getting failed. Okay, but that may be a different reason. Okay, if it is not interactable, that is of different reason, but our focus is on method chaining. Okay, so we have done the method chaining. We will fix this issue in the next class maybe, and until then, see you all, goodbye. And if you're new here, please do subscribe to the channel, guys. Your comments and feedbacks are really important for me to push myself to create these videos. Thank you so much again for joining Testing Many Bytes. Thank you, guys.